What if I told you that the greatest secret of life is something so simple, so ordinary, that you are doing it right now, but without awareness, without power, without mastery? What if I told you that hidden within each breath lies the key to health, vitality, spiritual awakening, and even immortality? And yet, despite its importance, this secret has been carefully guarded, hidden by ancient masters for millennia. Why? Breath is the bridge between the visible and invisible. It is the only function of the body that is both voluntary and involuntary. You can choose to hold it, to deepen it, to quicken it, but at the same time, it continues without your conscious control. This dual nature makes it the perfect doorway between the material and the spiritual. To the ancients, breath was not just air moving in and out of the lungs, it was life force itself. Known as prana in India, chi in China, ruach in Hebrew, and pneuma in Greece, it was revered as the divine wind that animates all beings. But here lies the paradox. If breath is so essential, why would the ancient masters hide its true power? Why veil it in cryptic teachings, symbols, and initiations? Why not share it freely, as one would share water or sunlight? The answer is as mysterious as it is profound. Breath is not just a tool for survival, it is a tool for transformation. And transformation is dangerous in the hands of those unprepared. Just as fire can cook your food or burn your home, the mastery of breath can either illuminate your consciousness or destroy your balance. The ancients understood that untrained minds, driven by greed, fear, or ego, could misuse this knowledge, turning a sacred key into a weapon. This is why they concealed it in allegories, embedded it in rituals, and passed it only through secret lineages of disciples who proved themselves worthy. The art of breath was considered a sacred trust, a divine inheritance, never to be squandered on the careless. In this video, we will journey into the hidden wisdom of the breath. We will explore how different cultures revered it as the essence of spirit, why the masters cloaked it in mystery, and what dangers they sought to protect us from. Then, we will unveil the deeper truths of breath, the mechanics of how it influences mind, body, and soul. Finally, we will move from theory to practice, uncovering techniques that allow you to taste, in your own experience, why the ancients considered breath to be the golden thread between man and the divine. Stay with me, because once you understand why the ancients hid this secret, and once you learn to reclaim it for yourself, you will never look at something as ordinary as breathing in the same way again.
Throughout human history, civilizations have spoken of the breath not merely as air, but as spirit. In fact, in many languages, the word for breath and the word for spirit are the same. The ancients were not being poetic. They were pointing to a truth so profound that modern science is only beginning to rediscover it. In India, the Vedic sages taught of prana, the universal life energy that flows through all beings. The practice of pranayama, literally meaning control of prana, was not simply about oxygen intake, but about mastering this subtle force. In the yogic traditions, the breath was seen as the chariot of consciousness. Wherever the breath flowed, awareness followed. Control the breath, and you control the mind. Control the mind, and you step closer to liberation. Across the world in China, Taoist masters spoke of qi, the vital energy circulating through the body's meridians. Breathing practices like qigong and tai chi were not designed for exercise alone, but as alchemical arts, ways of refining the raw energy of life into higher states of being. The breath was the bellows of the inner furnace, stoking the fire of transformation. The Hebrew mystics referred to ruach, the divine breath of God that gave life to Adam. And God breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. To them, breath was the holy spark that animated clay into consciousness. Without it, the body was nothing but dust. And in the Greek world, philosophers like Plato and Stoics like Epictetus spoke of pneuma, the animating spirit that pervaded the cosmos. The Stoics believed pneuma was the rational breath of the universe itself, flowing through all beings, connecting each soul to the divine order of nature. Everywhere we look in history, we see the same pattern. Breath equated with spirit, breath regarded as sacred. But if all traditions recognize this, why veil it in secrecy? The reason lies in the power of breath to alter consciousness. Ancient texts often describe masters using breath to enter trance states, awaken hidden faculties, or even perform what others would call miracles. These were not myths, but guarded techniques. Imagine an untrained mind stumbling upon such practices. What could result? Hallucinations, madness, misuse for power, or harm to others? Thus, the breath was hidden in initiatory traditions. In India, the deeper pranayama practices were reserved for advanced disciples, given only after years of ethical training and purification. In Taoism, the inner breathing methods of immortality were transmitted in secret temples, never written openly. Among Jewish mystics, breath and chanting techniques were entwined with the sacred names of God, revealed only to those deemed spiritually mature. The ancients knew that power without wisdom is perilous. Just as a child is not handed a sword, so too were seekers not handed the weapons of breath until they demonstrated humility, discipline, and reverence. This is the context we inherit, a world where the breath was once revered as the very essence of spirit, but guarded with utmost caution, a mystery both universal and secret, hidden in plain sight. Now that we've uncovered the philosophical and historical foundation, we are ready to ask, what exactly is hidden in the breath? What makes it so powerful that it had to be concealed for thousands of years?
To understand why ancient masters hid the secret of breath, we must first look at what breath truly is, not from the surface level of biology, but from the deeper lens of energy and consciousness. On the physical level, breath brings oxygen, fuels the body, and sustains life, but the ancients perceived something more: breath as the carrier of life force. When you inhale, you are not only drawing in air, you are drawing in vitality, subtle energy, a current that animates your body and sharpens your mind. When you exhale, you are not only releasing carbon dioxide, you are releasing stagnant energy, tension, and fragments of emotion that no longer serve you. Think of it this way: breath is like the tide of the ocean. The inhale is the wave rising to shore, carrying with it energy and possibility. The exhale is the retreat, the cleansing pull that takes away debris. In this constant rhythm, we live and move, but most people are not even aware of this ocean within them. They breathe shallowly, unconsciously, and so they tap only a fraction of the potential hidden in the breath. The ancient masters discovered that breath is the master key to the mind. Every emotional state has its rhythm of breathing. When you are afraid, your breath becomes shallow and rapid. When you are angry, it grows forceful and uneven. When you are calm, the breath slows and deepens. But the relationship is two-way. Just as emotions change your breath can change your emotions. Alter the rhythm of your breathing, and you alter the state of your consciousness. This is why yogis, monks, and shamans devoted themselves to breath mastery. They knew that to control the breath is to control the mind, and to control the mind is to control reality itself. But here is the hidden danger.
The breath does not only influence mood, it can open gateways. With specific techniques, slowing the breath, holding it, quickening it, or directing it into certain patterns, the ancients found they could unlock altered states of consciousness. These states could lead to visions, expanded awareness, even what we would now call mystical experiences. Consider the practice of kumbhaka, the yogic art of breath retention. By holding the breath, the flow of thought slows, the body becomes still, and a silence arises that allows one to glimpse the inner self. Or think of the Taoist practice of embryonic breathing, where adepts would breathe so subtly that the breath seemed to vanish, returning them to a state of primal unity with the cosmos. Such techniques are powerful, but they are not toys. To tamper with the breath without preparation can unbalance the nervous system, cause mental disturbances, or awaken forces the practitioner is not ready to handle. This is one reason the ancients kept them hidden. The breath is both a key and a lock. In the wrong hands, it can open doors prematurely. The masters understood something even deeper. Breath connects the human being to the cosmic rhythm. Just as the universe expands and contracts, stars ignite and fade, so too does the breath mirror this cosmic dance in miniature. Every inhale is a birth, every exhale a death. To master the breath is to align oneself with the very heartbeat of creation. And so the ancients concealed this knowledge, not to deny humanity, but to protect it. For if breath is the thread that binds us to the infinite, then mishandling it is like tugging at the very fabric of reality without knowing what one is doing. In this first layer of the mystery, we see breath as life force, as the regulator of mind, and as a bridge to higher states of consciousness. But there is a deeper layer still, one that explains why the breath was seen as the very foundation of spiritual awakening itself.
We have seen how the breath governs mind, emotion, and energy. But the ancients discovered something even more profound. The breath is the thread connecting the mortal to the immortal. To them, the secret of breath was not merely about calmness or health. It was about transcending ordinary human limitation. Let us begin with a truth hidden in plain sight. The first act of your life is an inhale. The last act of your life is an exhale. Between these two breaths, your entire existence unfolds. Breath is not simply something you do, it is what you are. In mystical traditions, to master the breath was to master the boundary between life and death. The yogis believed that every human being is allotted a certain number of breaths. To waste them in shallow, rapid breathing was to shorten one's life, but to master slow, deep, rhythmic breathing was to extend life and conserve energy. Thus, breath mastery became synonymous with longevity, even immortality. The Taoists said the same. He who breathes from his heels lives long. He who pants like a dog dies young. But longevity was only the beginning. The ancients noticed that breath could unlock hidden faculties of consciousness. With advanced practices, adepts reported visions, heightened intuition, and the ability to perceive realities normally invisible. In the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali describes siddhis, extraordinary abilities that can be awakened through concentrated breath practices. In the Taoist texts, the inner elixir created by refined breathing was said to open the third eye and connect the practitioner with cosmic intelligence. This is where the secrecy deepens, for these experiences are not merely personal, they are destabilizing. Imagine a world where anyone,
could, with a few techniques, access altered states, visions, or even manipulate their own life force. Without ethical grounding, such powers could be twisted for greed, control, or harm. The ancients feared misuse, so they cloaked these teachings in allegories, in metaphors of dragons, serpents, and hidden treasures, so only the wise would see through the veil. Even more mysterious is the connection between breath and sound. The ancients observed that certain breath patterns, when combined with sacred vibrations, could awaken states of deep resonance in the body. Chanting Om, reciting mantras, or invoking divine names was not simply symbolic. It was a way to direct breath energy into frequencies that altered consciousness. Here lies the hidden unity of breath and word. Every sacred syllable is carried by the breath, and without breath, even the holiest word is empty. Another layer, breath as union of opposites. Inhaling and exhaling are like night and day, sun and moon, masculine and feminine. Yogic texts speak of Ida and Pingala, the lunar and solar channels of energy activated by breath. Taoists spoke of yin and yang breathing, harmonizing polarities within the body. To breathe consciously was to weave duality back into unity, to return to the one. This is why breath was considered a royal road to enlightenment. When mastered, the breath could silence the restless mind, dissolve the illusion of separateness, and reveal the presence of the eternal spirit. In that silence between inhale and exhale, adepts found the doorway to the infinite. So why was this knowledge hidden? Because truth without readiness is a curse. If a child is given a crown, it is no blessing, it is a burden. Breath is the crown of human evolution, and only the mature can wear it without being crushed. Now we see why ancient masters concealed it, not from cruelty, but from compassion. They knew that to give the secret of breath too freely was to place lightning in unsteady hands. We have now uncovered the mystery, breath as life force, as cosmic rhythm, as path to immortality, as doorway to enlightenment. But knowledge alone is not enough. It must be lived.
The ancients did not keep the secret of breath merely as a philosophy. They practiced it. They knew that the true value of breath lies not in speaking about it, but in experiencing it. And so, to honor their wisdom, let us explore how we too can begin to reclaim the art of conscious breathing. The first step is awareness. Most people breathe as if sleepwalking, shallow, irregular, unaware. Simply pausing for a moment and noticing your breath is the beginning of awakening. Watch it flow in, watch it flow out. Feel how it moves in your chest, your belly, your nostrils. Do not change it. Just observe. The breath itself will begin to deepen, soften, and steady, because attention is the food it was always waiting for. From this foundation, you can explore techniques the ancients once reserved for initiates. The breath of calm, diaphragmatic breathing. Sit comfortably. Place one hand on your chest, one on your belly. Inhale slowly through your nose, allowing your belly to rise, while keeping the chest as still as possible. Exhale gently. Continue for several minutes. This simple technique activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's natural rest and repair mode. It dissolves stress and clears the mind. The yogis considered this the default way to breathe consciously, because it restores harmony. The square breath, or box breathing. Inhale to a slow count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4,
Hold for 4. Repeat. This technique balances the nervous system, steadies emotions, and cultivates clarity. Ancient warriors and monks used it to sharpen their presence before battle or meditation. The retained breath, also known as kumbhaka. Inhale deeply. Hold the breath gently, not with strain, but with stillness. When you must exhale, do so slowly and smoothly. In yogic science, this pause between inhale and exhale was seen as a doorway to the eternal. In the stillness of no breath, the mind can glimpse silence. Start with short holds, gradually increasing as comfort allows. The breath of energy, also known as breath of fire or kapalabhati. Sit upright, inhale passively, exhale forcefully and rapidly by pumping the belly like a bellows. Do this in rounds, followed by a deep inhale and a moment of stillness. This generates heat, awakens energy, and clears stagnation. In moderation, it can bring alertness and vitality, but use caution. Practice slowly with awareness, as it is a powerful stimulant. And the breath of union, also known as alternate nostril breathing or nadi shodhana. Close your right nostril with your thumb. Inhale through the left. Close the left with your ring finger. Exhale through the right. Then inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. Continue alternating. This balances the two currents of energy, the lunar and solar, the feminine and masculine, the left and right hemispheres of the brain. It was considered a royal technique for harmonizing the self with the cosmos. Now, a word of caution, the same caution the ancients carried: do not force. The breath should never be violent or strained. Begin gently, explore with curiosity, and stop if dizziness or discomfort arises. Breath mastery is not about domination, but about partnership with life itself. Over time, daily practice brings transformation. Stress dissolves more easily. The mind grows clearer. Sleep deepens. Emotional storms lose their grip. And beyond these practical benefits, a more subtle shift begins. You feel more alive, more connected, more aware of the sacred rhythm that moves through all things. The ancients promised that if you stay with the breath, it will reveal its deeper secrets. Moments of stillness, glimpses of unity, a sense that you are more than body and thought, that you are the very breath of the cosmos. This is the doorway, but only practice can open it. And so we arrive at the end of our journey, where theory and practice meet, where the secret becomes living experience. In the final section, we will weave everything together, and I will leave you with a reflection, a call to action to carry this knowledge into your own life. The breath is the oldest companion you have. It was with you when you entered this world, and it will guide you as you leave it. It has been present in every moment, every joy, every sorrow, faithful, constant, often ignored. Yet within it lies the very secret that ancient masters guarded so carefully, the key to mind, body, and spirit. We have journeyed through history, seeing how the sages of India, China, Greece, and Israel all spoke of the breath as divine spirit. We uncovered why they concealed its teachings, because it is a double-edged sword, capable of awakening or destabilizing, depending on the purity of one's heart. We explored how the breath governs emotion, mind, energy, and even longevity. We glimpsed how it unites opposites, harmonizes body and soul, and opens the door to the infinite. And then we brought it down into practice, simple techniques to remind us that the sacred is not somewhere far away. It is as close as the rise and fall of your chest. With each inhale, you take in not just air, but life itself. With each exhale, you return to the universe a part of that life. So why did the ancient masters hide the secret of breath? Because they knew its power, because they respected it, because they understood that only those who approach with humility, patience, and reverence are ready to receive it. But now, in a world gasping for connection, the time has come to rediscover what was hidden, not in temples, not in mountains, but here within you. I leave you with this thought. The next time you take a breath, do not take it for granted. Pause. Feel it. Recognize it as the bridge between the seen and unseen, the mortal and immortal, the self and the infinite. In that moment of awareness, you will touch what the ancients touched. You will remember what they remembered. And perhaps you will understand why they whispered to their disciples, "The greatest treasure is hidden in the simplest breath." Now it is your turn. Close your eyes. Inhale with awareness. Exhale with reverence. And step into the mystery that has been waiting for you all along.